Hi, everyone. My name is Victor Tang. I am the founding partner of NiftyCo. Earlier this year, my partner, Philip Runyon, who many of you may know as the owner of Veridat, approached me about a major museum that wanted to create NFTs of their works of art, their physical high-value works. In this case, it was a 17th century Dutch masterpiece that they wanted to mint and auction off. He had several concerns with regards to creating NFTs. One, that the carbon footprint of Ethereum was not a good story for him as a museum. Secondly, he wanted to include multiple documents within the NFT. He wanted to have the master work. He wanted to have a multispectral image, the backs, the sides, a certificate of authenticity, all created as part of the NFT itself. And then lastly, he had security concerns. Because I don't know if many of you know, when you create an NFT, the artwork that's in it is put on IPFS or it's put on the blockchain, and it is, in essence, public. When you mint the NFT and then you go to an auction house to sell it, the token ID becomes public as well. And so anyone looking at the blockchain can look up your NFT, and from there, find the token URL, find the actual raw file that is the artwork, and download it for free. So in the instance of Beeple, someone paid $69 million for a 300 megabyte file that you or I can download onto a hard drive today. And so I think that that is a major concern because it really brings into question the business model around reselling an NFT, around your ability to really license this private work, which is no longer private, which is no longer rare, and to be able to collect the revenue stream for it. So as a result of these challenges, we decided to create NiftyCo and build a platform called Mona, which is the marketplace of NFT art. And what we decided to do was address these issues by creating first a portfolio NFT. And a portfolio NFT is multiple documents that we can encrypt and store on the blockchain and wrap it in a DRM so that we actually control access to the documents within. Nobody can just go willy-nilly and look up the information on blockchain and just download it. And do whatever they want, send it to a printer to print a copy, etc. It is protected, so only permissioned users are able to go in and look at the different documents that you've enabled. So it requires an invite, and once invited, you register, and you now have access. And you can register your devices, your Samsung Frame TV, etc., create playlists, and display this art onto your devices. And then we decided to move on to the BSV blockchain because it has a much better climate footprint picture or story. It is also low cost to mint, and it is, I think, a better performance story than on Ethereum. And then lastly, we decided we're going to democratize this whole process. We're creating a platform where you don't have to be a crypto, pardon the word, geek, but someone who's really into cryptocurrency and blockchains and so forth and knows all the ins and outs of creating a wallet and creating an exchange account, depositing US dollars, transferring it into cryptocurrency, etc. Anyone accessing the marketplace can only simply has to know how to create an account, upload files, and pay for the process with a credit card or bank account. We will have these portfolio NFTs sold on a major auction house and create the buzz and ultimately create a very vibrant NFT market on BSV.
Awesome. I can't wait to see that all unfold. Here's just a snapshot of what your
Thank you.
website looks like and some of the things you've been NFTing with shoes. We'll talk about that more in a moment. But let's get to Rory. Rory, so this is your first time talking to the BSV global community. Let's just back up a bit. Tell us how you first got interested in Bitcoin and digital currency.
Yeah, so I was actually about a week out of one of my fights, fighting Tyrone Woodley. And me and my coach were hanging out in my hotel room, and he was telling me about Bitcoin, and it was about 2014, 2015, and I was super excited about it. He set me up with a wallet. He even sent me one Bitcoin, and I just thought it was amazing. And then I started learning more about it, started investing in it, and following, everything that happened with the forks and everything. And in my opinion, what I was excited about in the beginning, when I found out about Bitcoin, BSV is doing now because they're sticking with the white paper and sticking with the peer-to-peer electronic cash model that I was really excited about originally.
Yeah, and tell us what you did to follow the forks, because some people do if they're really coin geeks like we are here. But tell us what your experience was trying to get information about the forks and how you settled on supporting BSV.
Yeah, so I was pretty active on Twitter and different forums, and learning about what actually each feel, or which group wanted, where they wanted to go, where their vision was. Luckily, I was able to be in contact with guys like Greg, who is super informative. I even had time to speak with Roger Beer, and just gaining knowledge from guys directly in the field. I was able to take a critical analysis for myself and see what I believed in and that was going to actually have future value.
Awesome. And let's talk quickly about NFTs for athletes. Where do you see the opportunity for athletes to use NFTs the best?
I think it's an incredible opportunity for a fighter like myself. I've seen other fighters get into this category and have huge success, where they would never have an opportunity to, have a unique art about themselves. Now this is an opportunity for us to be directly involved and, make these unique pieces for our fans and those interested. And, it's obviously very lucrative, and it's got a huge future.
Yeah, and it allows you to essentially monetize your identity without needing to go to as many intermediate merchandising companies like in the past days of like collectible playing cards.
Yeah, absolutely. And I find that with the NFT model, it puts the power in our hands to actually be behind it. I mean, I have had trading cards made of me, but really you're not involved with the process. And at the end of the day, you're not getting a big cut of the pie when it comes down to that. Whereas with NFT, you're directly involved, and you're a huge part of, the profits that, come.
And so since Francesco is not able to join us remotely due to his family situation, I'll just briefly tell you about bullishart.com. I mentioned it yesterday. It's a platform to allow contemporary artists to create NFTs, and they were supporting NFTs now on BSV as well as one other chain. And here's some examples of the NFTs that artists on the platform have created using BSV. There was the Living Alphabet Collection, Matchboxes, Moody Heads, if you're moody. And as I mentioned yesterday, Francesco was so kind to arrange a number of artists to create a special limited edition collection of New York-themed NFTs for the CoinGeek conference. So there's only 21 of each. You can go to bullishart.com to check them out, and they're available, I believe, on the RelayX marketplace. But we really appreciate that, and go buy one for yourself and remember this exciting CoinGeek New York conference. Now let's turn to Eric and talk about a whole platform for FabriikX, and then we'll talk about how that links to Rory in a second. Tell us about FabriikX.
Fabriik is a digital financial services company. Our goal is to bridge the gap between B2C and B2B businesses by creating a complete liquidity ecosystem. And that means that we have services and products that allow everyone in this room to build on top of and connect to the BSV blockchain. Most companies like Bullish Art as well, one of their NFTs is listed on FabriikX already. And we were showcasing FabriikX at the charity event, which was fantastic.
All of the NFTs that were built on FabriikX, is that correct?
Correct, yeah. All the charity NFTs that are available now for auction, I recommend everyone to go and do some bidding, are all on FabriikX's platform, and they're all written on-chain. And so, for us at FabriikX, the goal is to create an expertly curated marketplace. And it's very different than a place like OpenSea, where anybody can list an NFT. And based on our conversations with content partners and people like Rory and other athletes and celebrities, they want to be shown in the best light. They want to be shown in a place where not anybody can throw up an NFT. It's because it dilutes their brand.
Right.
And so we want to make sure that we have curators, and those curators, they're the ones that are defining what is culturally relevant in the moment. And it's not about art here, art there. It's a stone or 8-pixel art, 8-bit art. It's more about the moment and memorializing a moment. And so we see that the curation element of NFTs is so important.
Great. And here's a snapshot of the FabriikX new platform, which has just launched. And here's examples of some of the NFTs that are currently available on the platform. But that leads me to this. Rory, this is your first NFT, right?
Yes, sir, it is. Happy to have it on the BSV chain, FabriikX.
Awesome. And tell us why you waited so long to create an NFT and why you ended up doing it now.
Well, I feel like I've been very watchful of the market and just learning about the whole thing and where to put it. And I felt like the best place to put it was the BSV chain because of the low fees and just the security of it. The fact that I'm right after the season that I was just fighting in, a very busy season of fighting, and it all came together at a perfect time, and here we are.
Yeah, I love that you have a BSV belt too. Tell us about the process of designing this and how you selected this to be your first NFT.
So we had creator come up with some options, and I felt like this was the coolest and most representative of myself, and the fact that we're on the BSV chain, and I wanted to show support on that. That's what we came up with.
Got it. And this is available on FabriikX, correct? Bidding is open now?
Bidding was started on the charity event
Yes.
and is open. I'd say get your bids in early because the prices are going up quickly.
Yeah, I think earlier today was like $300 and some for this. It's probably going up.
Absolutely. I think the average across all the NFTs available is around $300, and some of them are already at $5,600.
So if you want this NFT and have proceeds go to the American Heart Association, go to FabriikX.com. That's with 2 I's and a K. All right. So now, and first of all, thank you, Rory, for doing this. We really appreciate you minting your first NFT for our charity auction. Let's go to Shawn, because you have a very different type of NFT usage, not visual art or visual images. Why don't you tell us about what you're doing with Ticket Mint?
Absolutely, Jimmy. My name is Shawn Ryan. I'm the CEO and co-founder of SmartLedger, and we're the world's first dedicated blockchain distribution channel. And I'm here to talk about our in-house application that we are utilizing NFTs to disrupt the smart ticket industry with Ticket Mint. So we have a video to kind of give you some ideas of some of the functionality.
Great. Let's play the video about Ticket Mint. Let's see about NFTs. right. Explain what you're doing.
So there it is, Jimmy. We actually got started in NFTs early in 2020, and we actually had a client reach out to us looking to figure out a way to build an application to mint NFTs. And during the process and meeting with the teams, we realized a lot of different functionalities and ways that you can apply the NFT, and really the creative juices started flowing and getting with the team, and Ticket Mint was born out of that. So it's really exciting.
Great. And then, so explain what the NFT will do once you get a ticket.
So one of the major things that utilizing NFTs for smart ticketing does is actually one of the biggest pain points out there. I think we've all had the experience of trying to get a ticket for an event and going to find out that you have to buy it off a third-party reseller that is sometimes double the price on you. And I think we all get a little irritated with that experience. So what Ticket Mint allows you to do is to have granular control over the resale value of that ticket, and it empowers the venues, the event managers to really engage their audience in a lot of different ways with a lot of new functionalities they can utilize tickets for.
Great. Now let's go to Victor. Let's talk about the types of clients your company works with now. Tell us about that and how they're using NFTs.
Well, our focus is on high-value physical art. So our clientele is museums, private investors, artists that create physical works. So these artists and museums and private investors, they have an asset that's sitting for museums in a basement often, in a climate-controlled room to protect it under tight security. And it allows them to actually create an entirely new business model and a source of revenue from these works by creating this digital twin, by really providing a solid level of provenance and authenticity. They are able to generate a good amount of income selling it, licensing it, and that means they could put this image on Getty, for instance. They could license it to another museum that is creating a collection for a specific time. Say, one museum wants to create a Da Vinci exhibition in December, and they would contact the holders of Da Vinci NFTs and say, okay, for December, I'd like to license your piece of work. The other alternative would have been to contact all the holders and arrange to transport the physical work under lock and key, have it in a very secure room, and the cost of that probably makes some of this prohibitive. But here, it's just a museum, some large frame TVs in a large auditorium, and we could have all of the works of Da Vinci presented for the public. So this really helps them tap into a hidden source of funds that they never had before, and allows benefactors, investors, and so forth to participate.
And Eric, you mentioned earlier that the NFTs on the FabriikX marketplace will be on-chain. Tell us why that's important, and then how it informs the types of assets that you want to curate for your NFT platform.
It was important for us to write NFTs on-chain because BSV being the only chain to allow us to do the size of NFTs that we were looking to do, we knew that it was the right solution. When we were producing NFTs and writing them on-chain, we want to make sure that they stay on-chain so that they're immutable and all the data associated with it, not just a hash to a private key, but actually the content stays on-chain. Right. And for us, that gives us and the artist more security to make sure that the content is always immutable, not just the hash being immutable.
And can you give us an example of the difference in cost between what it would cost in terms of the transaction fee to mint an NFT on BSV through your platform versus comparably on Ethereum?
In order to mint through our platform, it costs about 2 or 3 pennies. Compared to
2 or 3 cents, US cents.
2 or 3 cents, yes. And compared to minting the same NFT on Ethereum, could cost you, depending on network congestion, up to $200, $300. And for me, the problem is that that's just not accessible. especially for artists that are trying to grow their base. They're trying to open their world to their art. And it's not, I mean, I think it's well known that not all artists are wealthy people. And so for them to have to pay $400 or $500 to put their art to have the hash of their art linked to somewhere else, that doesn't make sense to us. So for me, it makes sense that everything's on chain and the cost is minimal, not just for the artist, but also for the people that want to bid. And so that plays a big factor in the secondary market and the types of NFTs that you can make available. Not every NFT needs to be sold for $69 million. I think that NFTs should be sold for something that is accessible to the wider public, to broaden the community, not to restrict it to people that have, millions of Ethereum in their account.
Yeah, for comparison, Francesco's limited edition collection of New York-themed NFTs they got through Bullish Art. One artist making 21 NFTs would cost then, thousands of dollars on Ethereum potentially versus 42, 50 cents, on BSV. Let's go back to Rory. So Rory, now that you've gotten your first NFT done, how are you thinking about using NFTs more to help your own career and business opportunities?
Yeah, so I have had an idea of making a collection of my career. So fans could have a piece of each chapter, each fight, different moments that are celebrated in my career, or even defeats. And we could all capture that on I think it would be pretty cool.
Yeah. And do you talk to other athletes about NFTs and blockchain, and what is the kind of feedback you're getting from some of your colleagues?
I have talked to one. It was one of my hardest fights, actually. One of my more famous fights with Robbie Lawler. And it's kind of went down in history in my field as one of the better fights of all time, some say. And I was speaking to him and his management, and we are talking about doing a collaboration on an NFT or a bunch of NFTs that kind of represent that fight and what we went through in that moment. It just kind of create art around that whole event and that whole history of it.
Well, we hope you get him to do it on BSV with you. Let's go back to Shawn. Shawn, tell us about some of the issues you confronted in terms of functionality in implementing ticket NFTs and how BSV's technical capabilities allow that versus, for example, Ethereum or Solana.
Well, I think the first thing that we looked at is the low cost of transactions allows for a lot, the scalability of the blockchain and the ability to put data on chain. It really opens up a lot of functionality and experiences, and I think some of our panelists touched on it. I think we're going to be gamifying fandom in a way. I think you're going to be able to, go to concerts now, and you can say, "Hey, I'm a 10 concert fan," and you get a hat attached to your ticket now, or a T-shirt attached to your ticket, or maybe the first 10 people in the door get a personalized greeting from the artist, And then I think utilizing the NFT. Functionality, you can create gates, and I think it just makes a more smooth, seamless customer experience for everybody.
And for you, you're going to have to convince ticket issuers, right, to actually use NFTs for their tickets. How are you going to do that?
Well, with our research and looking at what some of the ticket issuers out there are charging, on both sides, the customer and the artist to issue their tickets, I think, you're going to be able to put a lot of money back into the artist's hands, empower them more, event managers. And I think, the sky's the limit.
Victor, let's talk about just NFTs generally out there. There's been this big craze. What do you think of all the things that are being made into NFTs and the prices at which they're, going for? And do you think that's the way for the NFT future?
Yeah, there's certainly a lot of things being minted on the Ethereum and BSV blockchain. I think there's a potential for even more variety in terms of the documents that are being minted, not just images, but books or music, etc. So I think it's a flourishing field. As far as the the value of it is concerned, I mean, that's where I do have some concerns with the way that it's currently being done, in that it is basically open to the public.
So Eric, some people might say, such as Jack Pitts, that some of these ridiculous prices for some NFTs, which are just a JPEG image file, might suggest that money laundering might be going on. What is FabriikX going to do to deal with preventing money laundering and other illicit activity using NFTs?
Because we're a curated platform, we mint all the NFTs on our side. And so we work with we're very specific with who we work with to make sure that we are confident that the types of NFTs that are minted on our marketplace have cultural relevance and are meaningful and are priced accordingly. And we want to make sure that there's different variations of those NFTs. A lot of NFTs are doing almost like generative art, where they release 30,000 NFTs of very similar with small differences. And while that has some benefit, we're starting with art that is curated and has 5 different tiers. And each of those tiers have a decreasing level of rarity. And so there's a community tier that will have somewhere between 3,000 to 5,000 editions, where a price point can start anywhere between $3 and $10, so that people can access. And you can only do that on BSV. It's very important that you don't see $3 Ethereum NFTs, because gas prices, it's like 10x of what the actual cost might be, or 100x. And so that's one of the key things that we're going to do. And when you keep the prices low and accessible, then that prevents money laundering inherently. And then the other piece that we want to focus on is making sure that we are only putting NFTs that have cultural relevance. I said that a couple times, but it's really important to us that they're meaningful.
Okay. Who decides if it has cultural relevance?
I think that the world decides if it's culturally relevant. And we're talking to artists, talking to people. We have some guidelines that we've been thinking about. But really, it's about, let's say household names, or people that are mentioned in the media, but also meaningful moments in history that are well documented. Those are things that have changed the course of history. And so we want to lean into those areas.
Shawn, you mentioned smart contract functionality with your ticket NFTs. Give us an example of some smart contract functions you're envisioning implementing.
We are going to be doing digital upgrades. You're going to be able to easily transfer your ticket and have security in doing that. So the smart contracts definitely facilitate a lot of different types of functionality. And on top of that, the NFTs, these tickets are turning into NFT collectibles now. I think they definitely have a lot more meaning in the collectible market when you associate an event like Eric was mentioning to it. I think it brings a lot of value on that side of it. So,
Victor, what's next that we can expect from your company and things you want to do with NFTs?
Well, we have quite a number of things on the roadmap. I first wanted to address this anti-money laundering. We put in the US dollar payment methodology for our platform, and that part of that entails that we are also doing the KYC and AML compliance to make sure that that does not occur. Next on the roadmap, BSV doesn't have the cachet that Ethereum has. And that's raised some concerns amongst the museum community as to what platform we actually mint on. Ethereum, we have the $69 million Beeple sale and a number of high-value sales, which create the PR in the market and the sort of image in people's heads that if you want to get a good value for your NFT, you're going to mint on Ethereum. Our answer to that is to make our NFTs portable. We're going to have this interoperability in our roadmap that allows our platform to ingest an NFT from Ethereum or Polkadot or Polygon, for instance, and create the identical NFT on BSV. But we're going to keep the provenance and the transaction history intact because we're going to store a pointer in the originating NFT pointing to the new one, and a pointer from the new one pointing back to the old, whereby anybody on either end of the chain can look through and see the entire provenance, the transaction history of this item. After that, the originating NFT will get burned so that we can guarantee at any point in time there's only one NFT in existence on any blockchain. And so with the ingest function, we also have the eject function that allows us to then take a BSV NFT that somebody purchased, and if he decides, well, Ethereum's the way to go, well, there's nothing stopping him, and we can put it onto Ethereum as well for him.
Rory, let's go back to you. I know you've talked with your agent and other representatives about using NFTs. Are you exploring with them use of any other blockchain applications or digital currency in other ways?
As far as the NFTs are concerned, for right now, I'm just focused on using BSV. I feel like I have a little bit of knowledge on that, and also like supporting BSV. It's a cryptocurrency I see that has a big future, a bright future, so I try to support that.
Eric, what is next for... Yes, you can applaud that if you want to applaud that. Yes, thank you. Eric, what is next now for FabriikX now that it's been launched?
So, well, FabriikX is live right now. People are using it during the conference, and we're showcasing how powerful the platform is, how easy it is to use. The next is going to be a larger launch with more drops. And the drops that we're looking to do are, to Victor's point, are to bring cachet to the BSV blockchain and why it's so relevant and powerful specifically for NFTs. And so we're working with some of the largest celebrities in the world. We want to make sure that they understand that why BSV matters. And because, a lot of the times the people that are buying NFTs, they hear Ethereum in the media, they hear Cardano, they hear all these other blockchains, and it's because the community's driving and propelling these false messages. And so what we want to do is by countering that is by bringing celebrities to the table and show that not only can an NFT be an image, but it can be a video with audio. And so for us, it's all about bringing never before seen footage to the internet. The NFTs that we're minting on FabriikX, you won't be able to Google image search them. They don't exist. They're original content. And that's why we want to write them straight to the blockchain. And we can't wait for everyone to come and check out FabriikX and check out the auction now and sign up for early newsletters and information. Follow us on social media to follow all the trends that we're doing. And then the second thing that we're doing is we're taking a moment to find the right curators. And going back to what makes something culturally relevant is that curators do that. And curators are people that people trust. And people trust the same way that people trust you and your knowledge of BSV. You would be an amazing curator. And you could curate a collection that's meaningful to the BSV community. It's not for us as a platform to decide that. It's for you to decide what is relevant to the community because you're deep in it. And that's the way that we want to approach that.
Any names you can drop? Your celebrity collaborators? Or do we have to wait?
I can say that all the content partners that we're working with have over 5 million social media followers to date, and they're growing. There are a couple of athletes. There's a couple of big name celebrities. I'm waiting a little bit to share the names because I want it to be really exciting. We're going to build the hype of this, but I can tell you that all of them are household names.
Shawn, what is next for Ticketmint's journey?
Well, for the last year, SmartLedger has been partnering with a lot of the applications in the ecosystem, and through those collaborations, we on the roadmap we're looking to incorporate Tonic Pow plugins for unique ways to advertise and market different events, and the future looks like millions of attendees at virtual concerts, and a lot of exciting things in between.
All right. Rory, I'll give you the final word, and let's just not even talk about Bitcoin. Where are you fighting next, and when can fans see you?
Well, there's no specific date or place, but I do have word that it'll probably be sometime in February, and most likely it'll be in Florida. if you want to watch it on TV, they have it on ESPN and ESPN2, so you can check it out there.
And what do you want to see for the future of Bitcoin?
Well, I'd like it to be able to be used as electronic cash like it was set out to be in the first place, to be able to just go and to any store, the famous coffee shop line, and you pay with BSV and you grab your coffee and you're on your way.
Awesome. We want to see that future too. Let's give a big round of applause to Rory. Go bid on his NFT, as well as to Eric, Shawn, and Victor. Thank you very much.
Bitcoin mining, Bitcoin wallet, blockchain, stablecoins, MetaNet, the evolution of money. Everybody is talking about Bitcoin today, but what exactly is it? Learn the basics from experts. Learn what Bitcoin is, how it works, and why it matters. Bitcoin 101, your ultimate guide to the fundamentals of blockchain.